And then, regardless if you start to have a much more sense and sensibility about yourself, you're starting to recognize, nah, I'm not doing that. Sometimes it's better to stay silent. A wise person knows how to be quiet. People can chatter, like I shared today in the respective groups. You have to know the difference. Not everything has to be always chatter. Like, yo, for real? There's a point of expressing yourself where there's a point and it can stimulate a lively debate, and those are wonderful. But just and then become no. There's a lot of wisdom when you have the ability to be like, nah, we can step back. Learning how to use my language, when to appropriately use that language, shows how much confidence and power that you have within yourself. Your body. Posture reflects possibility or protection in every moment. What am I embodying? That's like you entering a room and your head is down, not looking people in the face, or you're feeling nervous about, you know, I don't want to rock the boat. What do you think? All great inventions and all things that have the possibility to help others are all disturbances. You have to be a disruptor. If you're not willing to be a disruptor, that means you're willing to be common. If you're willing to be common, that means you're willing to be average. What is the purpose of being average when you have the extreme possibility of being as powerful as you so choose to be? Average doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. I don't desire for anyone around me to be average. Then what are we doing this for? Just to be like, oh, we talked and we threw a couple of slides up? No, this is about implementation as well, being in action, which leads to the last part, emotion. Your moods are a structure of being, not just feelings. What mood am I managing? And let me be the first one to reiterate. Sometimes we go through this thing and thinking that we don't have different moods. We all have different moods. Those are the things that make us human. Moods are part of the process. Not every day is going to be so glorious and sunshine, you're throwing up the air and everything is always smiley. There may be days you may have a frown on your face. That does not mean that you're making the mood the paramount of who you are. You something disturbed you, okay. You deal with the moment and then you keep pushing. You had a mood? Yeah, I had a mood. I was very moody about that. Yeah, of course. It's like anybody else. Anyone who has some common sense, and especially if you have deductive reasoning or critical thinking, you will have different moods. You may hear something that you don't like. Wait a minute. Oh, I ain't like that. Okay, let me process that. I ain't really rocking out with that. This, then, oh my God, you're so moody. No, it's not that I'm moody. I'm processing the situation and I have that right. The same way you have that right. So as we're moving through these ontological domains and we're recognizing who we are and how powerful we can be, we're starting to understand that, yes, you may be in some different moods. You don't need to be stuck in those moods or allow those moods to restructure who you are as an individual. But if you don't like something and you taking a moment to say, yo, I really don't rock out with that, and yo, give me a second. My God, you're moody. Okay, then I'm moody. Sometimes it's easier to deal with someone who desires for argument or contention instead of recognizing, oh, okay, I'm not wasting my energy. And you always have that choice from an ontological space. You always have that choice that allows you to resonate in your power. Any thoughts or questions before we move on? Excellent. Listening as an ontological act. How you listen reveals who you are. Now, this is important because sometimes you can be in spaces where there's just a lot of chattering and you're hearing stuff. That doesn't mean you're listening. And you have every right to choose what you're going to listen to or what you're not going to listen to. If there's a whole bunch of nonsense happening around you, Why would you choose to listen to that? Why would you waste that energy or that processing power? Because what you're hearing now, that means you're allowing it to go beyond just your ear gate or your ear canal. Now you're really processing it in your mind. You're stimulating those synapses in your brain. Because I gotta listen to everything. No, you don't. Who told you that lie? There's certain things like as we made these discussions, like a Laura Loomer or Charlie Kirk when he was alive. I knew of Charlie Kirk, and I knew that that's not the type of stuff I'm going to listen to. Because if I decide to say I'm going to give 20 minutes or half an hour or 45 minutes because he has a podcast and all he's going to do is talk about how you're going to disparage me and mine, why would I allow that energy in? Why would I give that focus to that? Why would I listen to that? Now, if I'm staying abreast and I'm getting little paraphrases here and there and I'm getting the synopsis, or as we have these technological tools these days, like, okay, let me put this through one of my assistants and, give me a good gist of what he's saying. Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna waste my time on that. Thank you for giving me the new 21st century Cliff Notes version of some of the crap that may be being spewed out there, not only by him, but other people on the extreme right. No, I don't need to listen to that. I don't have to give attention to it. I don't have to allow it to be focused. So, one is active creation. Listening is not passive reception, it's active creation of possibility. That's why what you choose to listen to is so powerful. Because just like every noise that you hear doesn't mean you have to react to. Every phone call, anytime you see the phone ring, I got to pick up the phone. That does not mean you have to pick up every phone call. Some people like drama. Some people like to enroll you in the drama. And then when you choose not to be a partaker in the drama, then you're the problem. Then you start to recognize, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Let me continue to control and protect my space. Sacred hearing, number 2. Leaders who listen ontologically can hear what's unspoken and emerging. That's why most times you can get more when there's a big room or a lot of information is being shared in certain realms or certain webinars or TED spaces and all that other stuff. And you sit there and you just giving yourself the opportunity, or if you have the ability to record it, like, what are you doing? Okay, I'm recording this because I desire to document and capture this information so I can really intently listen to what is being shared. Because like anytime I hear the word MAGA, for me, MAGA is just something that you're trying to bring this country to where you think it was great again when it wasn't great for some people, only great for a select few. And that keeps my antenna up to be like, okay, I see what you're saying in between the lines. And I'm not having it. Or I'm not a proponent for that, or I'm not a supporter of that. And number 3, enrollment begins. Sacred listening creates the foundation for authentic enrollment. So that's why listening and hearing, even though you're using the same organ, is so vitally important. There's a bunch of things that we're going to hear. But now, what are you choosing to listen to? And the ontological question for this particular, what future is trying to be spoken here? And that's something that you have to decide. Because tomorrow's the future. You had a bunch of people running around talking about, today was the day that the rapture was going to happen. But we're here, and Wednesday's going to be here, and Thursday's going to be here, and Friday's going to be here. The same way that people said we wasn't going to make it in 1990, same way that Y2K was going to be the end of the world, same way that certain people even in the 70s thought we wasn't going to make it in 1980. What's going on here? Now, are you shaping your future from a doomsday perspective, or are you shaping it from a perspective that, what, I have the ability to create and shape the day that I'm going to have. And it starts with me. And as long as I keep that in as a part of my power foundation, then every day is a great day. Because if I open my eyes and I'm still on this plane, that means I have another day to be as great as I so choose to be. In the same way that each and every one of you has as well. Any thoughts or questions before we move on? Excellent. The power of declaration. Speak from identity, not just intention. Let me say that again. Speak from identity, not just intention. Declaration shifts being. Let there be, and we're going to go from a biblical sense, creates reality through sacred speech. See, when God declared, it wasn't no, I hope and I think, and no. Let there be. And when you start to implement that into your life and you start to recognize those things that used to be detrimental, those things that felt like they were pulling you down and destroying you or not supportive of you, you start to recognize, wait. I gotta shift this. It's not me pointing at that person or that situation or that people or that group. No. It starts with me. What am I declaring? What am I affirming? So that I'm not just looking at it from a space of pointing a finger outside of myself, but recognizing it starts with me. And if it starts with me, then every day, it's not just it starts with me today, and then the other 6 days, no. It's a daily process. What are you being habitual in that's going to allow you to be impactful and powerful? Your I am statements. These declarations sculpt the soul and shape identity. Like I said, whatever you add to I am is what you will be, or what you'll have, what you'll desire, what will become the environment that you're moving through. And sometimes we can be saying stuff that we're affirming stuff that are minimizing, cursing ourselves and things of that nature. And I'm not talking about vulgarity. I'm talking about cursing ourselves and not recognizing you're doing it to yourself. You don't have to wait for someone else to keep you down. You're keeping yourself down. And then when you start moving in those spaces of becoming even more aware ontologically, now it's like, oh my goodness, did I really do that to myself? I have to apologize to myself. I did this. And now I can fix it. Visionary identity. True identity is declared and embodied, not achieved. It's like saying that you have the intention of losing some weight and you're not putting the work in. Or I'm just going to use a GLP-1, whatever is on the market, and I'm just going to stick myself, and that's how I lose the weight. That stuff is fleeting. Because if anything, the GLP is supposed to be working with you being in action, not you utilizing that just to be the caveat for what it is that you think will be the outcome. That means you're not even identifying with the fact of what are the benchmarks that I have to do to be in a space to be healthier. Oh, no, I'll just prick myself. I'm part of the microwave age. If I just prick myself right here, once a week or once every other week, it's going to help me lose the 30 pounds that I'm looking to use. I'm like, okay, there's no walking. There's no strength training. There's no recognizing as you get older, you have to build up more muscle around your bones so you don't start dealing with that osteoporosis. It's not something you just sit there and it's some magic pill. So are you moving in those spaces that you're creating an identity that is powerful, or is it very just fleeting? And we all have the ability to choose what it is that we are choosing. In the practice, speak who you are becoming, not just what you want. And now we even switch that word want to desire. So speak who you are becoming, not just what you desire. See, desire just gives you the opportunity to say, look, that is something I would love to do. Great. Now you have to do, like how it said, faith without works is a dead thing. Now I have to mix my faith with some action so I can see another result happening, or an outcome, or a possibility, or something that will occur, so that I am becoming that. I am being that. And there's nothing wrong with that. So don't get stuck in the desire. Oh, I desire $1 million. So what are you doing today to get closer to that $1 million? or that $1 billion or whatever goal it is that you're shaping. Now, if you're in action around it, today we only made 10,000. That's great. That's 10,000. That's $10,000 closer to the million. Keep going. Today I only made 5,000. Look, some people would be happy to make $5,000 in a day. Keep going. Oh, today we made 17,000. Oh, excellent. Yeah, stuff is fluttering, but there's a constant denominator there, the action. Any questions before we move on? And living the ontological comeback. Don't just do comeback, be comeback. That's why I want to even encourage you here, for those of you who are listening to us or even here live with us, are you sharing this community? Are you telling people about the Comeback Collective Circle on Facebook? Have you subscribed to the YouTube channel, Dr. Gregory Clarke, Master Coach? Have you done those things? Have you shared it with other people? You're part of it. You're part of this community. I can share it all day and all night. But when more of us, when we move in that space of multiplication, now we're not just, we're just doing this every Tuesday at this particular time. No, I'm seeing that we're having conversations that can be, that I can take from. It's starting to reshape me, giving me possibilities, and okay, it's excellent. So that's why daily reflection. Where in my life am I acting powerful but being powerless? With those areas that sometimes you may allow yourself to be powerless in. And then you start to recognize, like, okay, how do I start to shift that? It's not something that you snap your fingers to. It's something that you just recognize that you're going to be even more empowered as you start to recognize and do the inventory for yourself, which moves to the next space, your ontological inventory. Practice daily awareness, your language, your body, and the emoting that we do. And transformational being. Who do I need to be so others experience transformation? There are people out there who are waiting for you, and you are a blessing to them, even if they don't come back to let you know that you are. So when you're in that space that you're still willing to give so you can continue to receive, just because you give doesn't mean, you should be a receiver as well. Don't get it twisted. Being a giver means you can be a receiver. Sometimes we get so caught up in the giving, not recognizing, yes, we can receive. You deserve to receive. And the closing mantra for tonight is, I'm always becoming. I am sacred space for change. And with that, we are complete. Any thoughts, any questions, any comments, any takeaways? The floor is open.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, look, we're going to go to Miss McIntyre, and then we'll go to Mr. Franklin after Miss McIntyre.
I hope it comes out right. The whole idea of the ontological of the being, right? And the becoming. Oftentimes you become something out of need. Like you were giving the example of your dad and the being a gypsy cab driver. But that's not necessarily, and I know it's an extension of self, but if it wasn't a task, say it was something emotional, say it was a thought process that you had to constantly carry out of need, not necessarily who you are. How do you find that balance so you don't become that?
Well, a lot of times, great question, great thought. One of the things that I started to recognize is that there's so many things that are imprinted on us that we don't recognize that we end up doing. Sometimes those spaces can be from an emotional space. Sometimes it can be a physical space. Sometimes it could be from a mental space. And the stuff that we sometimes carry may not be stuff that was for you, but we were so imprinted by it, or it was so embedded in us that we continue to perpetuate that. Like I can remember there was a time frame early on in my marriage with Dr. Cheryl, where it was like I had like 3 jobs. I had a full-time job working in Wall Street. Then I did something at night from like 5 to 10 p.m. Now, mind you, Cheryl was at home with like 1 or 2 young children. And then on weekends, I did like 24, I did like 2 12-hour shifts on Saturday and Sunday. Not recognizing that that was embedded in me. You say, okay, I got a young family, I'm doing this. Just go out there and keep churning and working, keep churning and working, churning and working. But then after a while, that's probably where some of the benchmarks or the foundational spaces started to happen in regards to becoming a diabetic. Because then I can see all the areas where I was eating a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been eating. Caught up with a lot of different things that I shouldn't have been putting in my body. And it just kept going, kept going. It just kept moving, moving in automatic space. But see, what ontological work starts to do is that we start to recognize that, wait a minute, we're not going to make those things wrong. We're going to recognize that was part of your journey. And now, if we know that there's a better space or better opportunity to use the same time frame and energy, whereas before you had to work 2 or 3 jobs to make, say, $2,000 a week, but all of a sudden you can create something or do something that as you build over time, you may be given 20 hours a week and you're making the same 2,000. There's a big difference in time management being brought back to you. That means those needs, those spaces where before, okay, I had to go do this and go do that and show that, I'm a true superwoman or superman and, I'm doing this and doing that. And they're like, whoa, like you're missing your kids, soccer game or football game and stuff like that. Because, he's out there being a great provider. But dad died at 52. And you're like, wait a minute. Why did dad die at 52? You come to find out it wasn't that he was a lazy man or a man that didn't position himself to do what was good for his family. It's like he wasn't given a different ontological choice. He was positioned to say, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. Go work in that factory. If they need overtime, you're going to put in the extra time. And if it means a couple of doubles or whatever the case may be, and by the time you get home, you barely have enough time to even kiss your wife or eat a morsel of dinner. Next, it's almost time to wake back up because I got to get back to work. Like that weighs on you from a mental and physical standpoint. So a lot of these things that we call need are stuff that were imprinted on us. And we accepted the embedding because that's part of the process. But then after a while, you start to recognize, okay, because all of us here can say there are probably certain things that we were reared in or positioned in or experienced that we started to change when we became parents. Oh, I didn't do it exactly like how my parents did. So that means ontologically, you start to even change and start to make choices like, I may not necessarily do it like that. I can understand the foundation, but I may not do it like that. And that's not a make wrong. It's that you're making a choice. So I hope that answered your question.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Mr. Franklin.
So on the end, you said I'm always becoming, and what was that last word?
You're always becoming, and you're always
Say that again.
Always becoming, and I'm a sacred space for change.
Oh, I am in a sacred space for change.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I want.
Mm-hmm. Change is a good thing. Change allows us to manifest because if what we're doing is not working, or how you're communicating is not working, or how you're presenting is not working, then after a while, do you keep doing the same thing? It's like going to a wall and knowing that, okay, I'm attempting to go outside. So why are you banging your head against the wall? Why don't you either go out through the window, if that's a proper egress, or go through the door? No, I'm gonna keep banging the door because that's what I'm used to. I'm used to the conflict. I'm used to the vitriol. I'm used to the anger. And I remember coaching someone the other day, and they were in one work environment where it wasn't conducive and it was mentally draining. And now they move to another environment where they even recognize it's a better environment, but they still have themselves so much on guard that even though they're in a better environment or in a better relationship or a better possibility, excuse me, they're still holding on to the fact that, okay, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. It's going to be half empty in here. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What happens if you go into the space recognizing that the universe has positioned you into someplace better? That the universe is allowing you, okay, you saw what wasn't beneficial for you, but now you're doing something and now you're in a better space. You're allowing the evolution or the change to happen. And it's okay. It's a good thing. You're allowed to smile. And sometimes we can be stuck in those spaces, and we all have a little parts of that as well. So it's not a make wrong or saying or harping on the individual, or harping on us. But we all do that at times. Instead of recognizing, like, wait a minute, whoa, whoa. This can be a nice, wonderful experience. Why am I bringing the other baggage into play? Just to prove, oh, yeah, that person's going to do that. That person's not going to do that. Now, if you're desiring to imprint yourself or start to embed those feelings or start to influence the environment for it to be like that, then you're going to start to gravitate and pull into you what it is that you're sending out. Because all that stuff is in here. It's in you. And you got to ultimately say, nah, no. We're stopping that game. That part of my path, I understand it. I respect it. It was a part of who I was. I'm not playing that part of, or playing that role, or playing that game in my game of life no more. And it's a good thing. But it always starts as an internal choice. Because we can end up having a good thing and not experience the goodness of it because we're waiting for the shoe to drop. When you can just choose to say, okay, this stuff is not half empty, it's actually half full. And the cup is slowly even getting some more oil or water, and it's actually growing. Okay, this is lovely, this is nice. Now I'm moving from being transactional to ontological. So as we bring this to a close, because I know people respectfully, making sure that everyone gets in those right and proper spaces so we're not taking too long. Your ability to support this platform is so paramount. For the Comeback Collective Circle, these are the ways you can support, which we use to continue to promote the product, promote other people to come in here and promote the different groups and all the different stuff that we get to expand the vision of this particular community. And we desire and welcome your assistance. You desire to do it via Cash App, you can do it at $ Gregory Clarke D. Min. Yes, I do have my doctorate in ministry from the Virginia Union University. Go Panthers. Anyway. Or if you desire to do it via Venmo, once again, Gregory Clarke D. Min. Or if you so choose to do it via PayPal or Zelle, it's my email address, esquire971@gmail.com. And with that being said, we're going to end this here right here. It was a pleasure hanging out with all you beautiful people. I can't wait till we do this next week, where we have another great space, and we're going to continue to expand on this ontological work and break it down so it's being presented in ways that you can digest it more powerfully and not just quickly. So continue to have a great week, continue to become, and continue to recognize your being. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. Thank you, you too.
Thank you. God bless.
Bless.
The next one.